starting.
I was going to see how long that was going to take someone to say something.
Oh. Welcome back.
Yeah.
I'll let you go.
Yeah, welcome back. It's been forever for us. We haven't had a game in weeks at this point because my life has been crazy. So sorry, all 12 of you out there who are probably waiting for episode 9. It's coming. I kind of unexpectedly had it dumped on me that I'm moving to Montana like this week now. So I am dealing with all that, and in a couple days I'm going to leave to drive across the country again and blah blah. So I've been busy, but welcome back. I will let Ben do his thing now. Oh,
Always.
now I can't hear you.
Nope. Great.
Oh, now I hear you.
Oh, we can hear you now.
Now you hear me.
Perfect.
Technical
Ben
issues
doing his thing.
as always. Welcome back to the podcast.
We can hear you now.
Anyway, today's episode will cover episodes 7 and 8. So if you don't want spoilers, go listen to them. If you are short on time and just want a quick recap, hey, we're here.
Yeah.
So today, returning again for the podcast, we have Josh, who's playing Volcar, and for their first time on the podcast, Mikee.
Hello.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh, am I glad you're here for this recap? Oh, do I have questions?
Yeah, I'll try to answer them.
Oh man, I mean, you do have the benefit of a few weeks to be like, oh, so you at least have that.
Mess of everything that we were trying to do, right?
Yeah.
It was intensely entertaining. Some parts I was listening to be like, I got like an hour before I should go to sleep. Yeah, I stayed up for 2 because I was tense and could not relax to fall asleep. And then plenty of other times where I'm like, oh, well, this should resolve pretty quickly. An hour and a half later, I'm like, never mind.
No, don't ever think that with us.
Oh, no. I think
Resolving things quickly. It's a foreign concept in this game.
Things can resolve quickly, but they leave more questions than answers. Always.
I guess that's fair, yeah.
Or, the DM could take away everything that you've been working with.
I don't know.
Like
We'll get to that.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Before we get to that, Mikee, it's your first time here, so as I've asked everyone else, so it's only fair. What is your tabletop experience that you're bringing into this? Like, how long have you been playing tabletop RPG games?
Barely any. I have basically no experience. I kind of did wave tops in kind of like grade school, but it was kind of just like a little friends thing, so it was just nothing crazy at all. So this is kind of my first experience. Blair actually was like, hey, I actually remember it was like Super Bowl weekend, and he's like, hey, I remember you used to like do this in like grade school. Were you interested in joining? I was hesitant at first, and I was like, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. And then I was like, you know what? Sure, why not? And I'm super glad I did, because it's definitely been a lot of fun with all these guys. So.
Excellent. That's awesome. There's a lot of first time or close to first time in everyone here, which I'm still amazed at how well this group works together and tells a collaborative story based on very little experience.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something, because definitely the first couple of ones I was kind of on the fence about it, and I was like, okay, this is cool, but it's I don't know if I'm too into it. But as the group kind of started meshing and kind of working with each other and just feeling each other out, I was like, okay, yeah, no, this is definitely a great group to do this with.
I will say this. Our first experience, it was kind of clear that you were a little laid back, but then you just came in and brought the chaotic and all this amazing chaotic energy to the, and we're already a bag bag of chaotic dumbfucks. You came in and just like cranked that up to 12. So thank you for coming in.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Oh, man. So I guess the other part of that question is: are there any real play or D&D experiences, or anything you just watched or listened to that helped you shape Milo, or anything you drew inspiration from for that?
Absolutely not. Literally, Milo is literally. I'm really like I said, it's all really new to me.
Mhm.
So I'm really just basing Milo kind of just off my personality.
Oh, that's great.
And so that's genuinely just what it is. Anything you see Milo doing is really just, what do you think I would do? Okay, yeah. So
Oh,
anything you see Milo doing is 100% how I would be acting in real life. Blair can tell you 100% facts.
incredible. Oh, that's so fun. Okay. I'll sprinkle in some of the other like base questions in here, but let's get started on the episode recap. And Mikey, welcome to your first installment of Who Said It? That's right. While I'm listening, if something randomly just makes me laugh out loud, I'll write it down, and we'll have to guess who said that. The quote for this one, very early in episode 1, is, "Look at those idiots. Oh, those are my idiots."
I actually don't know. It's been so long. It's been so long.
Oh. Just the cadence of it, the way that it's got to be Theron.
Almost. And that's why I put this in here, because it is actually Izzy talking about Theron.
I was gonna say that kind of sounds like a like a Quilly thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty Theron, isn't it?
Yeah, that's very Theron.
It is.
So start of the episode, we are heading to the pit for the big fight.
Yep.
My note literally just says that this place is the pits.
Yep.
Mikey, welcome. Half the time I'm like listening to this on my commute to work. Sometimes I'm actually like sitting down and taking good notes. So part of it is also piecing together my random notes. I don't know if you know this, but Fraya and I used to do a podcast together, and oh boy, is my note taking for that still the same. I've known Fraya for 10? 8 years.
8 years? Yeah, that's
8 years.
So yeah,
there was a lot of stuff while listening to this campaign. I'm like, you guys, if you give Fraya any tiniest scrap of ammo, it will be used against you at the best / worst time.
Yep.
It is. Oh boy, is there a lot now for Milo that has come through in these past 2 episodes.
Just slightly.
And if I take my notes on my phone too, which adds to the chaos. So I'll scroll through that and say until I get back to my point. But so this is also where Derek pretty much tells the rest of the party that like, hey, I can talk to you in your head.
Yep.
Which was a terrible time to play the game of but Kalis was like, hey, what am I thinking about? So we get our Penny introduction.
Yep. We officially meet Penny.
Yes. Who's the
the
hired cheerleader.
Yeah.
Let's we'll say.
That's a very nice way to put it.
Oh, absolutely. So we get that introduction.
I also just want to say, like, I wasn't gonna introduce her right at that moment, but you can't set me up with that. Expect me not to fuck with you like that. Like,
just the littlest bit of ammo.
Like, oh, I'm just thinking about Penny naked. I was like, all right, well,
and right behind you is.
You had everybody going to the fancy brothel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, right.
And we of course had our WWE style walk-in.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Eventually,
So
we get
yes.
there.
Penny says Kalis will get what he paid for, which was quite the tease.
I loved Kalis after that being like, I don't even know what I paid for, so
Yes,
I'm also
exactly.
confused.
At this point, Volcar is supposed to be the one who fights the oh goodness, I didn't actually take a note of the name. Uh-oh.
Torborg,
But anyway,
deadly friend.
Torborg.
Deadly friend.
Deadly friend.
Keep calling him angry friend.
I know, it's great. I wasn't gonna stop you. I like it. I like it.
Torborg. Yes, Volcar is supposed to face Torborg, but Penny drops that. Oh yes, we're supposed to have this break, and then we'll be ready to pump up the crowd for Kalis's fight. And everyone's like, "Oh, huh. Well, I love the vignette we get of Quilly trying to pump up and hype up Volcar, who is just like way above, towering over Quilly.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I'll just say, massage shoulders, pump him up, and just like, right, you pointed out. So you mean like you're reaching way above you to massage Volcar's shoulders? Oh yeah, that. And then we get to where Kalis. It's like,
Then it's Kalis' time to fight. I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, in my head, I was like, okay, it's gonna be a good fight. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm like, Kalis, yeah.
Yay!
I'm sorry. Part of me felt
It went
really
from
bad.
bad
I was
to
like,
worse that entire episode.
Yeah.
Everything was coming up Volcar.
I'll check back in on that when we get to the end of the episode. But also, like, I remember the start, there was just a bunch of tiny little conversations and things happening as everyone's prepping. We get Torborg just absolutely destroying someone in the pit as everyone first walks in.
Yes.
Little display of his perhaps shocking prowess, yeah. And I don't know, I got to be an MMA announcer, so that was fun. Commentator, I guess, whatever you call him. But yeah.
What a spectacular display from Torborg. It was so good. I was actually like, man, if I went to guest one spot so far, that would have been a good one.
That would have been the spot.
I'll
keep that in mind.
I was just imagining one of them had like one of those like handlebar mustaches.
Yes.
Like straight up barbershop quartet looking dude.
Perfect. That's not the description we were getting, but that's like, what is now in my head.
That had like this amplified voice spell going on.
Yeah, pretty much.
Perfect.
That works.
Of note, before we officially change the fighter from Volcar to Kalis, Derek offered to send healing words to Volcar. Volcar hated that.
Yeah.
And Quilly and
Volcar's apparently a hypocrite, so
well, yeah, a little bit, but I do love the repeated line of Volcar thinks less of you as a human being. Constantly. I'm offended that you would even offer that, and I think less of you as a human being. Like,
which you got to say to like half the party in like 5
oh yeah,
minutes.
everyone except Theron and Milo. Surprisingly,
so
Milo didn't. But
this is the part where Milo went away on a mysterious mysterious circumstances.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and missed the epic song for Kalis.
Yeah,
from
he missed the song.
Italia, yeah.
And
that was.
Is there any other big stuff from the beginning?
No, my next note is Phaedra and Clink.
Yeah, because I remember I like it felt really long to me while it was happening, and then I went back and listened. I was like, damn, that was like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like so much time to me. I guess yeah, Derek did also offer to help Kalis, who was like tempting, but no.
Yeah.
At some point in there, that happens.
Yes.
And yeah, then Milo leaves.
Oh boy, do we have I think in real time, an hour and a half, almost 2 hour
Milo-centric.
This full half of the
dungeon
episode.
crawl.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a while. I'm like thinking about it too now. Like it was like a long time.
It was like
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
this was
It's
the
half
moment.
the
This was
episode.
Milo's moment, and Milo failed.
I
Yeah.
don't know that.
Fails
You-
a
Find out.
little extreme. Okay, relax.
You gave a random person who you don't remember where or when to meet your blood.
Again, a little extreme. Relax.
Yeah.
Accurate. Pretty accurate.
So
You're not far. Yeah.
I actually have a question for Mikey.
Uh-huh.
So Milo heads over there. I get to bring in Casey, which is much smoother in the video than it was in real life. We had a little hiccup there, and I don't know. I'm just curious. Like, what are you thinking as everything else is happening, and like Milo's heading off to do this job, and then like how? If that did change, how did that change as soon as I introduced a guest character for this? Like, did that change for you the gravity of the situation, or like what was going through your head during all this? Because I don't think anyone was expecting Clink to show up.
Yeah, no, like I said, whenever whatever Milo's doing is literally what I'm thinking. So like I'm a go with the flow type of person. So I'll kind of just do whatever. Like as you can clearly see.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just a person that kind of just goes with it and then thinks about things later. So, yeah, that's kind of, as soon as like, okay, just another person to run amok with. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're going with.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was. I remember we talked, Fraya, earlier about you were going to bring in some guests here and there, and I didn't know if this was a sudden drop to everyone else that they were going to have a guest.
We heard that there might be guests at the beginning. First of all, I didn't expect this far from the beginning. And then it came out of nowhere, and it was so great. He was amazing.
Oh,
Clink
Casey's
is one of
great,
my
yeah.
Clink was one of my favorite characters. And I was happy to be just watching this happen. I was like a little enraptured by it.
You were in my shoes.
Exactly.
But yeah,
You didn't have
tell them.
stakes.
I gave Casey Discord permissions in game while I was talking about 30 seconds before I messaged him and said join. So he wasn't even in the list. No one could possibly have known that someone else could even see what was going on in there. So I gave him permissions. He showed up, joined Vorpal. I essentially just had to reload the room real quick, and he was in, and no one had any idea it was coming.
There were some technical issues where I could see your attention was focused, Freya, on other things.
Yes.
So that was kind of seamless as a viewer to be like, oh, what happened there? And then all of a sudden, boop, hey.
Yep. I cut out all that for the video.
We have Clink. That works too. So Clink has a terrible handwritten note, and at the entrance of this goes about, I assume, instructions that were on there, a very specific way to be let into the catacombs underneath.
Essentially, yeah. Some
Essentially.
tunnels. Yeah.
And the one lone shopkeep in the room
Yes.
before heading down gives a note to Phaedra, Clink, and Milo of left door. No. Yes, left door. No, my note says left door. She says right. R-I-G-H-T, as in the direction.
Yes.
So we get down there. Oh boy, I wish I wrote down the rooms one by one, but we get down there. Just as you get further along, the handwritten note is sloppier and sloppier, and Clink loses more and more confidence in those directions. Just
I don't remember if he mentioned this, but he wrote the note.
Yes. Yes, it was his own handwriting.
I love it. It's his own handwriting.
Yeah.
He can't read his own handwriting.
Yeah. So essentially, we go through the tunnels for a bit. They get to whatever symbol he's looking for, which he seems sort of maybe sure that might be. It's probably maybe the one. Yeah.
Close. Looks right.
And Phaedra has a nifty little device that lets them just put a hole in the wall, and then it goes away when they're inside. But yeah, that's where we are now, as we have entered into this unknown place.
Almost immediately, the first option. There were a lot of options of doors.
Yes.
And the first one that Clink was given is just like, oh, well, we follow the left door. And in the back of my head, I'm screaming, but there was a note that said right. Mikee and Fraya played this well, in that you just let the air be silent. It's like, okay, we're going on. And then I believe that's when you get to the library hallway.
Yep, library's up first.
To then, again, Clink says, oh, I believe my note says, after a good solid pause, yeah, I think that says left. And another such long pause for everyone. And I'm screaming that there was right. It's right. But, you follow that along. And there are so many traps triggered, or little pyramids that shoot force blasts, and a wobbly floor to test your dexterity, and gravity wells, and
yep. Ben, did you figure out the core mechanic of what was going on there? I guess did anyone? Like, what? So it almost felt to me like a lot of the stuff was bypassed, maybe without exactly understanding what was causing them to get shot by stuff.
Side note on this.
Yeah.
I remember like going through this, and I'm like, just dilly-dallying through it, just doing whatever we were doing. And I was like, I think it was at one point where I totally just yelled something. I don't remember what I yelled. And then you were like, are you sure you want to yell that? He's like, did you say it to yourself, or did you yell? And I was like, oh, it finally clicked to me. Like maybe like 5 or 10 minutes after that interaction, I was like, oh, like it didn't even happen right away. And I was like, oh, okay, that's why this is happening.
Yep.
And
library.
Yeah.
So
I was like,
in the library with the kitchen sink, with Dr. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Green.
This was my take on that. It's probably like early 2000s show Silent Library, where they had all the horrible challenges and you couldn't make any noise. I don't know why that hit me. It was forgettable. Some of it was kind of entertaining, but this was, I don't know why this hit me to do something like this. But yeah, essentially noise will trigger getting shot, and clearly it's a room built to make it pretty easy to make noise in. So I love this library.
Figured out the noise mechanic, but I now realize where you got the inspiration from. Went, oh,
yeah, it's kind of cheesy, but I don't know. I like the one section toward the end with they don't know what, but whatever was getting shot at them from the darkness. Yeah. Where the way things are spaced there is to make it so first one you're pretty much going to get hit by, second one if you try to dodge forward or back you get hit by it, and then the third one just comes from the ground and from above you, which we got to see that that one play out
Like,
in a pretty
comically
entertaining way. Yeah, comically well. So, yeah, that's the library. But you do make it through. All of you pretty low on health by the end of it.
yeah.
Yep.
This
Pretty
is why
banged
you
up.
always bring a healer, and that's why you also let the healer keep his powers.
Well, this is where I have the note. This is intense. Guess I'm not sleeping. So this is where I was like, oh, I got an hour before I fall asleep. I'm like, nope. There
That's a
was
lie.
yeah. There was a part of the note or riddle that Clink had that said, like, look, the vulture will help you find your way, or something like that. And in this room in front of us, there were 3 daggers. One with illusionary magic, I forget the middle one, and one with necromantic magic.
Yes. That is
And I'm
correct.
sitting there, yes, and I'm like, oh. Well, first of all, right. Second of all, necromantic magic. Sure. Oh, that's right. Now you go right. You guys. Started.
You know, you're just saying this now, not even realizing. I guess it kind of makes sense now.
You in the right room. You went to the right. I was so glad.
You know, it was I didn't get it. I was just going off my thing. You know, right is right, left is wrong. So, but that makes a lot more sense.
Oy vey.
Okay.
I'm watching this entire. I'm like, oh my god.
I
It's
gotta
like
say,
watching Mission Impossible.
it was very entertaining. Me watching all of your faces watching this while it was happening. It was really good.
Like Mission Impossible, but with Mr. Bean. 3 Mr. Beans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah. Saturday Night Live version of Mission Impossible.
Yes, very much that.
That room revealed a puzzle. Oh no, Fraya, there you go.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Was there's a room that is opened and then immediately ignored.
Yeah.
with
I
the
don't know.
paintings, which is one of my favorite rooms I've ever designed. and I knew there was a good chance that y'all just looked at it and were like, no, which is what happened. But I was kind of sad about that.
Then I don't know who came up with this idea, Mikey or Casey, or even Freya playing Phaedra. We're just like, well, illusionary magic shouldn't hurt us the most out of all this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was Clink. He grabbed the dagger.
that was Clink.
I was like,
You opened the left door, and I believe at that point it was Clink's turn to lead, because you were changing off who was leading in the library hallway to see who would get shot repeatedly.
Yep.
Which is
pretty
great,
much.
because you spread out the damage enough that no one died, but everyone's very hurt.
Yeah, I'll pat myself on the back for that one. But, I saw how it started, and I was like, "Uh-oh, I might need to try to spread this out a little bit."
Oh boy. And then we get to a room that looks very empty and has a invisible hellhound, canine, guard dog, something. That
Or she could just be insane.
Possibly.
Maybe.
This guard dog gets Clink in its grasp, and through a portal, a blinding light comes the dog's owner. I don't know. But help. We're
No.
so very.
If you still don't know, I'm not going to tell you.
Hold on.
Right now. So.
Clink tried to thunder step out
Yep.
and got.
Just didn't work.
Didn't work.
It just didn't work. Yep.
Comes in. What was it? Blue eyes. Does anyone else have it?
Have
Boy,
what?
howdy. Do I wish anyone asked the dog owner's name?
man, asking
The name.
questions. What is that?
Where's the needs? Why you need my blood?
But
Okay. So let's set the scene in less confusingness for people who maybe haven't watched. They get to the library, look around at the daggers, look in one door, see there's paintings and shit, and they're like, fuck it, close the door. They open a second door, they see it's back into what looks like the same library. They say, fuck that. They open the third door.
Doing that again.
It looks empty. They're like, cool. They walk in, and Clink gets attacked by a large invisible dog or something that sounds and feels like that. And very shortly thereafter, teleporting into the room is a strange, short humanoid figure, about 5 foot, with porcelain skin, and not looking necessarily quite like a human. And yeah, so that's where we're at right now. She shows up, and Ben, what are your thoughts on what happens as we lead up to break time on this one?
I have so many questions for Mikey specifically, but you've already answered them in that, like, you're very go with the flow, just kind of follow what's going on play style, which as soon as you said that, oh, you followed that to a T. But my curiosity is just screaming to be like, but I want to know what the puzzle is. There's, again, thousands of questions, and I'm like, why? How did we get here? Are you going to make Mikey make a new character? Fraya.
This is the beginning of Mikey's multi-class into a warlock. Really,
Yeah.
I really thought that was what was happening.
It could happen. We don't know.
Just, So if I may ask a question to make sure, porcelain, has the group met this character before who steps through the portal?
Nope.
Okay, that's fine.
Not at all.
All right.
So
then, yes, I'm a little lost.
So we set up for break time. With, this porcelain figure, seeming to cast some kind of communicative spell, and essentially saying, "Hey, dinner for 3." And that's where we end on for break time. And then when we come back, another figure shows up via teleportation. An elf woman, who is currently clutching a dagger that is in her lower gut, and bleeding heavily.
Yep.
And very angry that she's been interrupted in whatever business she's been doing. So that's how I'll set that up. Ben, I'll let you continue from there.
She gives our thief trio about 10 seconds to answer what they're doing. They come up with 0 convincing or 0 truth telling.
Yep.
They just basically silent for 10 seconds. And again, Mikey, now that I know why you're playing this way, I'm like, oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. If you're just following leads, then no one's leading, you're not going to. Okay. I think you tried to say something, and then Frey just immediately, nope, we're done. You have 3 options now. Which are basically die. I forget option 2, but it's also basically die. Or
it was get arrested, maybe?
Yep.
get arrested.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is not basically die, it is actually die.
Yeah.
I'll call the
And then-
washers, or
you can
Do
owe me a favor
Yep.
in blood.
Literally.
Yeah. To which
Yep.
I love how he immediately just got out of jail, like being bound to something, and then like maybe 10 minutes later gets bound again to some other person.
in a
it's
worse
almost within
way.
24 hours is the fucked up part. It's so close.
It is.
It is amazing, and like the most amazingly I'm sorry if I'm coming out of this wrong. Dumbass thing I've ever seen in my life, and I love every single moment of it.
So it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
100% chaotic. It's 100% like tailor-made for Milo. Like that is, Mike. You played it. It does not satiate my own curiosity, but it is incredibly in character, which is its own reward.
Yep.
Listening to it. Thank you for that. Clink. All three of you are like, yeah, we'll take the Blood Oath favor over the other two. Which Casey and Clink said one of my
Yep.
favorite things is like, all this blood that's around this room, can that count for mine?
I did love that. I did love
So good.
I also have
which,
a quote from him written down, which is just, "I like your dog." I don't remember when he said that, but he
Yes!
did say, "I like your dog" in this part of the conversation.
and it is right about now where I have to go. Thank you very much, Fraya, for your content warning of self-harm. It is a thing that I just learned this episode after getting a little skeeved out that no, I have to abide by these now.
Oh,
So I got a few minutes in before any kind of actions take place, and I was like, ooh, I'm getting skeeved. So I did fast forward through it.
okay.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad to hear that the warning was appreciated there. That was actually Izzy brought that up, and I was like, "That's fair." It's inevitable at some point during this campaign. There's going to be other fucked up shit that happens that I can't possibly put a warning on everything. Because the warning would just be, "Hey, don't watch this show."
And we want people to watch this show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a very specific.
Please watch the show.
That was a very specific thing that
Yeah.
was pointed out afterward, and I was like, "That's a good point." So I'm glad to hear that did help. And I will do my best to continue doing that if there's specific scenes like that.
Yeah.
So.
Perfect. Thank you. So yes, so I have a small lapse of notes then, but basically you have a blood pact with someone who knows who in 3 days to meet them back at sunset.
Someone, somewhere, at some place, at some
At
time.
some time.
But we know when. We know when.
We know when. We know kind of where. Not entirely specified, but like
We don't
pretty
just know
close.
the who and the what.
Yeah. The what was always going to be a mystery. The who, very important thing.
Yes. Yep. Yes. But yeah, TLDR, they take option 3, they get some blood taken from them, and then they are escorted out by Harmony. We learn the porcelain skinned figure is. Leads them back out effortlessly, out through some storefront near the market district, and is like, "Alright, go." And I think Phaedre is snarky to Clink. That sounds about right.
I think so. It's just more of, I think everyone is in shell shock and they just go their separate ways.
Yeah, everyone splits up. Milo starts heading back to the pit.
Back to the pit.
And we get back to the other half of the episode.
Yeah, we got to watch Kalis get the shit beat out of him.
Yes. Before we fully go away from that, just a thing that I've asked everyone, Mikey, is there, and perhaps not, since you've told me your play style, but is there any point when you're playing Milo where you want to do something or you want to say something, but that's, you realize not how Milo would act, or you stifle doing something to try to like keep the spotlight where you might think it should be?
Honestly, not really. If I do have something to say, I kind of will just speak up about it. And like I said, the play style for Milo is that I'm literally just thinking of how I would do it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what Milo's doing. So yeah, for the most part, like whenever I want to do something or something comes up, I'm just like, I'll just bring it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, not really. There hasn't been really any big anything like that. So
From what you said earlier, that's the answer I expected. Honestly, the answer I've gotten from I think everyone. But I also want to say, if anything comes up in future episodes, there's like, I actually kind of wanted to do this here. I figure this would be a good platform for that. We can kind of talk through. Any thoughts on that? So
I agree.
I
like
just given everyone that opportunity. All right, so then we get back to the pit.
Yep.
Boy. Oh boy.
This goes how I expect it to go.
It's better than how I thought it would go. It is a long fight sequence between two heavy-hitting combatants, just absolutely throwing haymakers at each other. Just two big beefy boys bashing it out.
I hate that quote so much.
That's fair. I know, but I couldn't think of any other better way to do it.
It's fair. It's fair.
About a few rounds into combat, Kayla says, "All right, this is harder than I thought it'd be," and goes into the form with wings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Red Bull.
Copyright infringement. Red Bull form.
Shit.
Red Bull boy.
Red Bull boy.
Yeah.
Red Bull boy form gives you wings. And it's still at some point. Kalis is looking very bloodied. And unbeknownst to anyone else, character-wise, person-wise, yeah, we all know, Derek starts silent spelling healing word to help his friend out.
Yep. And silvery barbs.
And silvery barbs, yes. Which help a lot. And also, very notably, at one point, Volkar, who was very adamant about not receiving any help during his fights, tries to cast Hold Person as angry friend.
Yeah,
His angry friend was trying to swat Kalis out of the sky.
I think in my mind it was a very like a reactionary thing. Like Volkar is seeing someone he's come to respect get the ever living shit beat out of them, and as a reaction is trying to stop it. Like just to give him like a little bit of a chance. And it fails spectacularly. And for his good work, it blows up in his face. I'm looking at you, Fraya. Spectacularly.
The cat wants out, so give me 1 second.
Oh my god, it was a moment of weakness that you capitalized on in such a way, and I love it.
As soon as you said it, I was just like,
goodness.
Oh.
As soon as you said it, even I was like, well, hold on here.
That was a moment where you say that, and I was like, uh-huh. And I just start furiously typing for 10 seconds, making a giant, bold, screaming note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you even did that. I'm like, Volkar, who thought less of everyone?
In the back of my head, that episode is still named Volkar Fucked Up.
Yeah.
That's how I interpreted the character moment. Like he's trying to stop someone he's grown friendly with that he respects from getting hurt more, but then I think he's ashamed of it almost immediately.
I'd say that's a very noble act, but perhaps not honorable.
No,
especially after drawing attention to the fact that he's aware that it's not honorable to almost everyone else in the party. That's really what made this.
It's
this wasn't even a decision for me.
Complete hypocrite.
Yeah,
a complete hypocrite.
You did that one, and I was like, yeah, man, oof.
I was a hypocrite, and as the DM, it was within your right to punish me.
Sitting back,
having both of you here at this podcast is perfect because I'm like, who fucked up more? Who fucked up more this episode?
Um,
Milo or Volcar?
I think Milo lost
We'll discuss that
95% of his
with
abilities.
episode 8 because
The repercussions come through.
Yeah.
The
right.
repercussions.
But TLDR on the fight before we get too sidetracked.
Yes.
Because of Derek's help, it goes way longer and closer than it ever should. I was not expecting this one fight would be half the other half the episode. And after an hour, real hour of, as Ben would put it, two beefy boys banging it out or whatever he said. I know. After this insane, bloodthirsty 1v1, it ends with a little tiny dart throw that hits Kalis as he's in the air, and he plummets down, losing his wings in defeat.
Out of everyone who was trying to make the fight honorable, Kalis decides not to use the healing potion he brought with him. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And lost by metagame 8 hit points.
Yep. But also, because of cheating is the only reason that mattered at all.
Yeah.
He would have been out in like round 3.
Yeah.
But it's still, I was not expecting this scene to turn this way at all. So here's what I thought was going to happen. He was going to beat the fuck out of Kalis. Volcar would get angry, jump in there, and probably he would beat the fuck out of Volcar as well. Just looking at Raw.
God, that would have been amazing.
That's what I thought, is that you were both going to get the shit kicked out of you pretty easily by this guy, and instead we get this fight. And I was like, I don't want to steal this fight. This is when I felt bad. I didn't want to take Volcar's fight from him that night, but there was no fucking way he was fighting anyone else after that. So I was like, I'm sorry, Volcar, but he's not fighting right now.
After the fight, Milo regroups with a bag full of 150 platinum, to which he just lets everyone think he bet against Kalis.
I loved, I think it was Derek actually who brought that up initially.
Yep.
I loved that because, like, clearly all of the players were very aware of what just happened, as it just happened in front of everyone. And I love that he just immediately has this great in-character, believable response to this that, like, sets up, like, no one else needing to, like, metagame hide it or anything, because it was a really smooth way to handle that. So I really liked that. And of course Milo's like, if that's what you want to think, and sure, I'm betting against Kalis.
Totally. I believe at some point here there's still another deception check from Derek to be like, no, I didn't help. That passes everyone.
Yeah, he's pretty good at lying, it turns out.
And then
It's a sneaky little shit.
Yeah, everyone decides to. Well, Kalis goes back.
I think it like ends right after the fight. I think.
Yeah, everyone goes back to the crowbar. Kalis goes back with Penny.
Yeah, he goes and has a happy time.
Yeah. So
implied.
That's the end of episode 7 there. I don't think there's anything else big at the end.
No.
No, the big thing comes at the beginning of episode 8.
So there's 7's pretty loaded. It's a pretty loaded episode, to say the least. But I think 8 is somehow more loaded.
With the repercussions of 7.
Yeah.
Heavily.
Yeah. At least the beginning of them.
Yes. So we're at the crowbar, and everyone takes the Golden Corral special of like a 4:30 happy hour, and then goes right to bed.
Yep,
4:30. 4:30 is our time to get blasted and go to sleep. We're early risers. We get up very early in the morning.
It was actually later this time, because the fight wasn't until like 10 at night. So this was like almost a reasonable hour to be drinking, and instead you all sleep.
Like I said, we get up early in the morning.
It's true.
Gotta do some cardio.
Yeah.
So I don't get any sleep.
You do not get to sleep. Volcar gets a dream vision. Oh boy, do you!
I stepped in it so much because the moment I say 2 words out of my mouth, and the look on Freyr's face, I'm like, oh god, what have I stepped into?
Mm-hmm. So my question for you: what was going through your head when I kicked everyone else out of the room?
Like,
How scared were you
oh
on
god,
this one?
I was terrified because it's never good. First of all, it's never good when you set up a dream sequence because past experiences have showed it's either really important or really scary, or a combination of the two.
Usually both, yeah.
Yeah. And then you kick everyone out. I'm like, oh god, he doesn't want anyone to see that this is going to be a big story beat. I either did something wrong or I'm getting more superpowers.
No, you're not.
I did something very wrong.
You did. You get to go out into thunderstorm and cry out to your. Well, actually, no, that's afterwards. In
I
the
lose
dream
a piece of
sequence.
my identity. I really like the fact that
Yes.
you took a piece of this identity that I was forging and just said, no, that's mine now.
Mhm.
So let's real quick set the scene.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a dream sequence, and it takes Volcar back to the pit, and he's fighting Torborg, and he's trying to fight Torborg rather, but unfortunately, there's this pesky Derek who keeps intervening and helping the opposition. And Volcar gets confused and frustrated and eventually realizes that he can't use any of his magic and gets the shit beat out of him horribly.
Yes.
That sums up like half an hour, I think.
Yeah, that's a good half of an hour of me getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
And then he takes something from me.
You also go out into the rainy night.
I start screaming at that because I get when someone takes something like an emotional toll. Most people's first reaction is to hit back. When they get hit, they hit back. It's that flight or fight response. And I like to think that he has a bigger fight instinct than flight. And so he yells, he screams, he has a very emotional moment, and I have a little bit of history with therapy and with having an emotional outburst like that. And usually, as it goes on, you get to the actual heart of what you're dealing with. And at the end of that, he comes like, I have no idea who I am without this.
Without your tattoos, and most notably what that means. Without your magic and your powers.
And he goes off. And the tattoos are we're working this into the story, like a backstory for the tattoos, like what we had with the Mordith clan is they're a history of what you've done in that clan, what you've, like his home. Like, you earn your tattoos, you earn your name in that thing. And I'm currently writing a short story about him earning his first one and his name. So that's fun that I'm happy to post once that's
nice.
On the thing. And it's like taking someone's identity who they're confident in who they are and just saying, nope, that's not it. See how you deal without it.
Yeah. Which is going to be fun.
And then Mikee, we go from that fight response to that flight response. Yes.
You don't go back to sleep. You go inside, write a note, stick it on the desk next to a fall asleep Derek, which is great.
He was an inch away from stabbing that little fuck.
Yep.
Yes. And then you go off to the camp you made up. Yeah. I would like to ask Mikey, because I'm always curious, what happens in the chat or everyone's reaction when they're just like, something's big's happening and we're not gonna know for now.
I actually remember. I think it was because I was running late that day, and I was like, "Oh,
Right.
they already started. I already knew they already started, and I was like checking up, making sure making sure I was checking my time, how late I was, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
And then I was like, "Oh, something's going on. Everyone's in the secret room, and it's Josh and Brad in that one room. I wonder what they're saying. I wonder what it is." Because I was like, you guys were just talking about, I was like, wait, I don't remember a dream sequence. What are they talking about? I was like, oh yeah, I was late that day, and I was like, I remember I was thinking about, oh, I wonder what they're doing, what I'm missing, and I was like, just watching the Discord, and then I just saw everyone move at the same time except for those two. I was like, oh, something's happening.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
it was big.
yeah, and then I remember finally getting home and then logging on, and then everyone was like, I remember the first thing I heard was like, he was like punching a tree. I think Volcar was like punching a tree or something, and I was like, is that kind of big? And then as we were going through, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on now. But yeah, it was definitely, I was like, oh, something's happening.
Incredible.
So
Oh, that's awesome. You caught the Discord movement of everyone. You're like, uh-oh.
yeah.
That's
The
so
migration.
great.
Yeah.
It was really just a moment, and I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah.
He says threateningly.
I will remember that when
I'm gonna walk out
DMing
at
a
Gen
one
Con.
shot.
Yeah, you're gonna walk up Gen Con and just shank me. It's gonna be great.
I would shank you, maybe put a black bag over your head and take you someplace.
Yeah. That's fair.
He'll have a note. It's like, meet me by the punched tree, and put it on the desk next to you with a knife through it.
I look forward to this.
Everyone gets to regroup at this time, and we're off to see Lulu, Grandma Lulu,
Yep.
as I've now
First,
called her.
real quick tiny thing. Kalis decides to ghost Penny.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Yes.
that's right.
Yeah.
Being a total dick.
He vanishes in the middle of the night.
God.
Yeah.
He telegraphed that from so far away too. I'm like, you're gonna fine. Kiss is the dick this episode. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then we go back to like when they come and get me. I physically attack Derek.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And I think in that moment where
right.
he's like punch bagging a tree and his adrenaline's up and he's trying to figure out, he sees a target of his rage.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Is again played well.
And he definitely still sees it's Derek. A lot of it is Derek's fault.
Which, yes, but did I don't think there was any perception made by Volcar when Derek was secret spelling this.
Yeah, but when he saw in that vision,
Mhm.
it was he connects it in, like he's on an
Derek.
instinct.
Yes. Yeah.
He sees on that instinctual level, oh, he must have been he saw this is the reason. Oh my god, I need someone I need to hit.
That's fair.
Which is made worse by the fact that Derek is convincingly lying about it to everyone.
To everyone.
And no one saw anything. They technically, as far as I know, it didn't actually happen. So everyone's just confused there, I think.
Everyone makes insight checks there. Derek successfully lies. Volcar successfully pleads his case.
Yep.
It's just like, well, anyway, off to Lulu to get information.
Yep. First, they have to sneak past raid boss Barwop.
Barwop, which you successfully did because Barwop rolled a 2. Remember that? Yeah, where were any of those 2s during the Goliath fight? Torborg fight.
They were not there.
You rolled too well.
Keep having this like information. Like, have you ever seen that meme of the of like the gopher that looks around his shoulder?
Yes.
That's how I'm like someone like whispers the word pig and suddenly like da da da.
Yes.
Yeah, very much. That's very much Barwop. But yeah, sneaking past him is easy. You all go meet up with Lulu, which is the first time most of you have met her.
I think it was
True.
just me and Theron that had met her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was it before. And she's got a lot of news for all of you.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Remnants. If I can read my notes, Remnants wants to bring back SQ, which is Spider Queen. Took me a while
Yes.
to be like, no, it's not Square. What's Square? Oh,
All these circles make a square.
Vessi wants to stop him.
As far as we
I
know,
love that. So her name is Vesh, Vesh. Vesh.
Autocorrect,
Yes.
man. Autocorrect.
Yeah, I figured.
sometimes
Yeah, that's what I thought.
really,
I
really
love that we're focusing on Lulth because, like, literally right before we started playing, I had just gotten through the first few Drizzt Do'Urden books, the Forgotten Realms, the Drow, their whole society, and then I watched this amazing shorts on YouTube about that voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch, amazing, where it's basically this drow lullaby where they talk about how the Spider Queen will wrap you in silk and be glad that there was only one, for if there was two there would not be you. Because I think it's like the second or the third child of every great house has to be sacrificed to the Spider Queen, and that she feeds on the chaos of this political. It's like the Sith, where they're all trying to come out to kill each other to go up on top of each other, and it's insane. And the fact that we get to interact with her, even in small ways, was like a giddiness I had, because Lulth is one of my favorite villains.
Well, also conveniently, there's some intense history between Cord and Lulth in this world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that as well.
There was a lot of Lulu information, some of which I did not grasp. Gargoth? That's just one of my notes. Question mark. I'm like,
yeah,
go
I
back
can give this the spark
get
notes.
that. Yeah.
First, she tells them about Deer Sentinel, the airship that everyone's been paranoid about.
Yes.
Belongs to one of the houses of the Highborn Dominion of a city called Xiphus, which is on a different continent. Really not much about that. So Vesh,
Y'all are paranoid about a hot air
and
balloon.
Remnus are apparently the children of Gargoth, who is the archdevil of political corruption, among other things.
That's what I missed.
And essentially just a lot of really ill-boding information about the two of them in sort of separate directions. Remnus, which seems to be the brother that she was speaking of, he's got his Sephiroth sword and he likes to kill a lot of stuff with it. Might be maybe seeking some revenge on some other parties in the Hells for maybe some stuff that might have happened with Gargoth, but that's very unclear. And Vesh, some rumor of cults in her name from before, doing a bunch of
Dark shit.
crazy hedonistic cult orgy rituals, and she would casually show up and kill everyone except her chosen mate, and then
It's very Slaneshi. Very Slaneshi.
It is. And yeah, just that she can be really fickle apparently, and is prone to maybe some inconsistencies of character. And I think that's all the big updates.
All the big
this
updates.
town.
Lulu very much tells Volcar to trust himself.
I will
Volcar is
say
very-
that story really just like lit a fire in the character. It definitely like it got him back on solid ground. And I will
Awesome.
thank that story was amazing. That little like aside that she gave him
Yeah.
was
Thank you.
awesome.
That
was completely like improv, right?
Yeah, that was entirely off the top. I will say
Wow.
eventually you'll realize other things that make that story being even cooler being improv. It's actually, of all of my DMing for this campaign, it's the highlight for me right now is that story. And I can't possibly give the full picture on that. There's one person in the party who knows it all, but that makes me happy to hear that it hit for you and for Volkar, because I was just sitting there like, she is essentially for the party, or at least for Theron until this moment, and now the party. I kind of imagine her relationship to all of you being similar to the relationship I have with the Taoist master I study under. And I'm sitting there in this scene and whatnot, and she's actually one of my favorite characters to play so far as well. I wasn't expecting to love Lulu as much as I do, but she's great. And I'm just like sitting here looking at Volkar in this like vulnerable position, who's like clearly losing his mind right now. And I don't know, it just kind of like hit me, and the story just like came out, and at the end I was like, damn, I kind of killed that one, to be honest. So I'm happy to hear that was a big moment for you, because I was really proud of that one.
Nice.
But, yeah.
Nice.
Aside from that, it's all sadness in this conversation. So
Yeah. I did also like that Quilly, Theron, and Milo were all just like, "Hey, Volkar, you're not nothing without your powers. People without powers can do great things too."
Yeah, I did like that.
Lulu is also very much like, "Trust yourself, but if a better path emerges, don't hesitate to change." Which I'm like, great.
Change your
Following
ways.
that, get out of your damn head sometimes. You're always thinking you're going to miss opportunities. You're going to miss what's actually happening, what's in front of you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yes, all great. After the Lulu thing, the party reconvenes and reprioritizes, aka Milo. What have you
I love
done?
that. I love that bit. I might have given her some of my blood. You gave her.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
That was completely unscripted. That was completely by accident, and
I
it
gotta
was
clip it.
amazing.
Such a
So
good moment.
good.
So
It's all right. So do you at least have her name? All right.
yeah,
But I know
that's-
where and kind of when. Or no, I know when and kind of where.
Yes.
Mike,
Yeah, sure.
Or Milo. Sure.
So let's,
yeah, sure.
Let's actually explain what all that crypticness means, because yikes. You all meet up again, and I think it's actually as you're walking to the swamp.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it
Milo's
was
like,
as
hey,
we were leaving.
yeah, it's like, speaking of problems, I might have sort of stolen from someone, and gives them like half the information right now. I
Knows what
might have stolen from
Milo was
someone.
stealing.
It didn't go very well, but I have a bunch of money, which Volkar takes.
That's right.
I love
Hey,
that.
yep.
It's like
This is bodyguard payment.
as fee for us keeping you alive. That was great. That was a super good character moment too. And yeah, essentially,
You've obviously made sure that you're gonna die. We obviously need to work on some like impulse control
yeah, just a little
with
bit.
Milo.
But
You know, it is entertaining.
it is. It
Not
is
always
a great
productive,
story.
but
Yeah,
greatly entertaining.
yeah. I'm having fun with it. But yeah, Milo drops that as you're all walking, and then everyone freaks out and is like, "What the fuck? We're literally going to meet with someone right now." And let's try to delay a few days and figure this out and all that. You show up, Sully breaks Josh for a little bit.
I literally have my note is Sully kills Josh, not Sully kills Volkar. Sully kills Josh.
Yeah. Which I love, because again, Sully
was like-
he's my favorite character, so I love to see that response.
I don't know what it is. I've had a very amazing relationship with people who do an amazing Kermit the Frog. I think like when I was, I think 13 or 14, I was part of the Muppet Show, like a crappy version of the Muppet Show for my local theater. It wasn't actually sponsored by the Muppets Show in any way, shape, or the Jim Henson Company in any way, shape, or form. But it was all handmade. It was a lot of fun. But I'm like 12, and I'm talking to a Kermit the Frog on a live stage in front of about 112 people. And I do the exact same thing where I start laughing my head off. And you with your Kermit the Frog voice bring me right after years and years and years and years, brought me right back to being a 12-year-old.
That's amazing. That's fucking hilarious.
That's really where that laughter came from. I don't know why. I just started cracking up. It was like something broke inside of me. I'm like, yep. We're back here again.
Nice.
It's fine. I can just take Sully away from you guys if you don't want him.
No,
I love him. I love him so much.
No, fuck that.
I mean,
I paid
we may have
him.
destroyed.
Okay.
I will say this: we may have destroyed any business relationship we have with him because of our screw up.
Yeah, we'll find out.
I think so, but you did barge into a meeting with your client that you're supposed to escort tomorrow, right? I think it's tomorrow.
Yep.
If I have the timeline right. And be like, hey, can we delay
it?
it?
Him at all yet. Just to retouch on that. This is the first time you're supposed to be meeting this guy for whatever job.
We find out.
And it doesn't go well.
No. Kalis runs in and is just like, hey, fuck you, we gotta do it tomorrow. In almost that tone.
Yeah. You guys walk in mid-argument with yourselves, and Kalis demands the client to leave the meeting room that he, has set up.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Which, you don't even introduce yourselves. Which, again, you all point out, hey, we should start doing that. And I'm like, maybe don't give them your real character names. Because none of your meetings go well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to start doing it under like pseudonyms.
Yeah, you really.
Okay, I'm choosing Volcar as my name.
Excellent. Perfect Milo response. Perfect. Oh, that's great. But
that's an additional 25% from your cut of every job.
Yes.
Volcar gets paid twice.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Ben, I have a question. So
yeah.
As you're going through the whiplash of this episode and the previous episode, especially, as they walk in to this meeting, like the moment before Kalis opens his mouth, what are you thinking? What are you expecting? What are you like? What's going through your head looking at this? Like seeing the mental state everyone in the party clearly is in right now. I don't know. What are you anticipating?
Anticipating at best them walking in, the client be like, no, I have to do this, and then be like, great, sorry, and leaving. At best. At worst,
what happened?
This kind of hit this hit middle of the road. At worst, I thought that they were just going to kill someone, the client, like, I don't know.
Well, I have a feeling we're gonna get there.
Not the client. But at worst, you just insulted. Well, not at worst. In the middle of my extremes, you insulted the most prominent banker in
the person
city.
Who controls a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, basically Warren Buffett.
Yes.
Warren Buffett's
son. Yes, his son. But while Warren Buffett is dying of cancer, and his kid is trying to hire you to save him.
Yep.
So
we fucked up. Let's just be honest. We royally fucked up.
You really should have just. You should have finished your argument outside.
He wasn't gonna introduce himself by full name. He wasn't going to show the family crest. He wasn't there to make a show of anything. It's just, I have a job that needs to get done, and it needs to get done.
Money is no issue.
And I expected maybe afterward, if this went through and you took the job, eventually on the road, Kalis would like recognize the crest and like see things and put it together. But the fact that he just gets commanded out of the room instantly, I was like, I'll give Kalis this, but there's a giant fuck you attached to the back of it, and that's him seeing the crest as he walks away. And not planned. I couldn't have anticipated this happening this way, but just the moment where I get to say that and I just see Danny just roll his eyes so fucking hard and just screams at Milo, I was like, yeah, this is fucked.
Yeah. So you all are fighting and send the brain cell, Theron, out to try to smooth things over.
And I love the right before he walks out, Volcar being like, I don't give a fuck, I will go beg on my knees for this, like, yes. I'm broke, I need this job, like, I don't give a fuck. And Theron's like, let me maybe not approach it from that angle.
Yes. It doesn't work out for you guys. He needs it done basically right at Milo's meeting point, to which everyone's like, well, surprisingly, kind of, I thought that you might split off or just be like, well, Milo, you got yourself into this mess, and they might not want other people around for your meetings, so peace. But you surprising to me have the allegiance of the group to bail you out, as everyone claims this one last time.
Get a ridiculous amount of platinum from him.
I think played into it.
That played a lot into it. We just insulted a very wealthy client, we need money. So I'm currently powerless. So I need financial stability in my life as my only
it's my only
recourse
solace
to losing whatever power I have over myself.
Mikey, what were you expecting? Were you expecting? Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. I figured, we would probably split up. Maybe someone would leave one person behind to babysit.
That's what I was expecting. Yeah, one, either Quilly or Theron.
Was like, oh yeah, I was totally expecting Theron to be like
have
babysit.
a chaperone. I'm thinking next session we're gonna get you a baby Bjorn. Or like those really bad parents that put like a backpack on their kid with like a leash.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, we'll figure this out as we go, I guess.
So here's
Milo, very Mikey.
I thought there was a very, very distinct possibility that Milo never told anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I was about 45% expecting no one in the party found out until this went wrong, and you just went and took the other job and did your thing and just let that fall apart behind the scenes. So that didn't happen. We'll find out if that's a good or a bad thing, but I was sort of expecting that, so I was kind of surprised when Milo actually spoke up that early.
I will say this. It is so amazing that we can play a game and do that where you think it's going to go one way, complete left turn, off the rails, and we have such a good time with it. And I love this dynamic that we're creating.
Has everything prepared, like all of your probably all of your scenarios. Like, we can work with that.
Yeah. There's only so much stuff I can prepare for.
True.
But I can rest easy knowing that none of them are ever prepared for what I'm doing. So it's mutual. We're all just rolling down a hill together is kind of what it feels like. But yeah,
it's like,
so...
I don't know, there's like a Greek myth where a guy is in the underworld as punishment, he has to roll a giant boulder up a hill every day, and it falls back. That's what it feels like we've started. But the ball is rolling up right now. I can tell. Ball's going to be rolling up.
Yep.
Until Milo speaks again.
All right. So I was saying my note.
One more thing before we move on with it is, so clearly there's the amazing moment where Milo reveals that this random woman has his blood, and half the party in unison screams. It's so good. At some point during this, as Theron is doing a pretty decent job talking, I'm thinking in my head, I know what Mikey knows and what Mikey doesn't know. And Emin clearly is going to want to hear from him. Clearly. And this is fucked because Blair's doing a really solid job with this for the most part. There is one thing he said that I was like, that was a little questionable, but the rest of it was, I was like, you're actually reading the room really well here. And then Milo gets called over, and I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the moment when everyone realizes you don't even know the person's name. And what a reveal. Just that comes out and everyone is like, I'm so fucking done with this shit.
I loved because I was like,
I felt like I should have just gone like, I'm done.
uh-huh. That was again another point where I'm just like, oh, you guys are gonna go escort. Milo's on his own, but nope. I even saw the name thing a mile away because I'm like, nowhere in my notes is there a name, and I'm like going back, replayed it in my head. I'm like, oh no, which was just a wonderful reveal. So immediately you've lost that contract because there are plenty of others who will escort at the right time. For him. My note for most of this is, hi, my name is, you're such an inconvenience, get out of here. How that all goes.
Yep, that's exactly how that went for him. Oh my god.
Yep.
Then you all just, my note is Merca debrief.
Yes, that does
You're
happen.
like, hey, we lost that job, and Mark was like, I don't give a shit, fine. Here's something for Kalis, bye. I've got bigger fish to fry. Cool, whatever. Like,
yeah.
Okay,
I
it's
love
easy.
the little political intrigue that you're starting up with this new marquee that's coming in. Also, sons and daughters of the demon of political corruption.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's like Game of Thrones, but I get to play in it. Ooh.
It's true.
Game of Thrones meets House of Cards. That's what I was looking for.
Yes, I feel that. But yeah, there is that the tail end of the Mirka talk is Mirka talking to Kalis alone.
Yes. Keep an
and
eye out on Kalis' order.
I like this because Kalis seems genuinely unsure what to do with that.
Yeah.
It's like he's really put off by it. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't plan that. It's just kind of a thing that hit me right then, and I was like, this would be mean. And then I did it. So
Of course.
that's the end of that train of thought there.
Nice. Then the group decides to maybe try to find any of Milo's contacts to get the name or any more information other than Sunset, probably here-ish.
Yep.
Milo takes everyone to the exit point from episode 7. Yes?
Back to
entry
Momo's
point.
Toys. Yep.
Momo's
And
toys.
I
Entry
believe it's
point. Why did I think
Theron and
exit point?
Quilly.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
3 of you decide to break in because it's closed.
Yeah, there's a small close sign. My note here is, what is checking for traps? What is that? What is that concept?
There's like so much discussion.
We really don't know about that one.
And then,
No.
and then you just go in.
Raps.
It's like Home Alone.
It is.
The entire
really
party
It
is
really
like,
is.
It's so
Milo
good. It's like,
successfully
Milo
picks the
unlocks it,
front
turns
lock.
blue, and then Theron immediately is just like, I'm gonna go in. And I was like, you're the one who's not looking? I'm fucking surprised.
Yeah.
And yeah, Home Alone.
Yeah. So my note then at the end of that is Quilly, Master Thief.
Yep.
Quilly doesn't get hit.
Nope. Willie's great.
Nope. Turns out it basically was a dead end. There's nothing there. There wasn't a ton of information. You remembered. Oh goodness, I forgot what Milo remembered. But I think looking at that proved fruitless.
Really nothing. Yeah. No.
Something about a book.
Something about bookshelf. I think
Bookshelf.
that was like the biggest thing I remembered.
Yes.
Probably.
Yep.
I'm missing.
But yeah.
That was it.
Nothing
And
came
then-
up of that.
I love it. Y'all break in and are like, oh, I don't know, and just leave.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So hilarious to me.
Very Home Alone.
And then you go check out the fountain just to see if Phaedra's there, and she's not.
She's
believe.
not. Yep.
Yeah.
Correct. So then you all go back to the crowbar.
Yep.
Home base.
And during that, is this when Kalis and Volkar try to go back to the pit, but it's closed?
Yes. Yes, because my note here is, hey, I made it in an episode, because you referenced me calling them the Red Bull Boys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look at that. First game now.
Yeah. You get the... Kalis and Volkar go to the pit and basically see the calendar that the next pit thing is a week away. Just
Yep.
about. I think it's the 6th, 7th.
Something.
Fifth,
It's on my
fifth,
calendar somewhere, but
fifth.
that's packed up right now.
Yeah. So then everyone goes back to the crowbar to make it to 4:30 happy hour.
Yep.
This one's the early one.
Yep.
We figure out we have to head towards the pit.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
Go ahead.
That's it. That was your debrief. Was you kind of debrief the very little information you found out and set a new plan for the next episode.
Yeah, pretty much. I think there was some trying to study the slate of the ritual on it, but that doesn't
That's right.
go too far.
Quilly, yeah.
No, it doesn't really go.
It was Quilly and Derek, I think. They were trying
Yes.
to read it or something.
Quilly couldn't.
Yeah.
Derek was like, it might be this line of magic, kind of. That was about it.
Yep.
Yep.
And that is where we end.
That is.
I've been so annoyed that it's been 3 weeks that we haven't had a game, I think.
Yeah.
Almost
three, hopefully not 4.
Probably 4 because I'm moving very, very shortly.
Yeah.
But it feels like forever ago, and I've had, I'd like to think it's clear that I'm thinking a little bit in advance with some of the plot stuff going on here. So I have a lot of shit written and ready to go, and I have another really cool thing to unveil that I just can't, and I've just been sitting on it for a fucking month now, and it's been eating me alive. And this is not as potent of a cliffhanger as this is for watchers, like the audience. If I have a choice on a note to leave off on before taking a month break, I don't really want to torture my party for on this note. Like, this is just, there's a lot of shit, and so it's kind of like, I know that it's been out of my hands, but it's just kind of like, damn, sorry y'all.
All life, doesn't it? Just get in the way.
Life decides when we get to do stuff, and it's reality.
Yeah.
So
have you ever seen that episode of South Park where reality is literally this mustache twirling, like Dick Dastardly looking guy who comes in, like, speaks to you? Like,
I have not seen that.
not.
No, it's beautiful, where he basically comes and drops reality on, like, safe space crap, like, and in the internet stuff, like you're not a bunch of you're a liberal. This is real life, not a liberal arts college. And that's how I think reality is right now when we're trying to play D&D. But
that's fair. Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll shoot. Reality will end up the same way it happened in that episode. Shot and left to die.
Good.
Great.
But I'll say I'm confident that when we get around to episode 9, it's gonna be a banger.
Oh boy.
9 and 10 probably at the very least.
Great.
So yeah, sorry not sorry, Volcar.
You brought this upon yourself.
You're not the only one who's learning the power of maybe overstepping among the party, and I love that it's both of you here for this.
Power of giving Fraya just a little scrap to work with.
We give him tiny
little
bits,
too much.
and he just, he takes those tiny bits, forges them into a dagger, and shoves it right into your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So when you give him
course.
actual good ammo,
I just throw it away.
Woe betide that person. Woe betide that person.
Nah, fuck it. If it's too good, I'll just throw it away because I'm mad I didn't write it.
that's fair.
But okay, to be fair, I'm also like handing you all daggers to stab me with at the same time. So like, while it hurts you now, later on you are all gonna make my life hell. I'm very, very aware of this. So you'll get your payback on me.
Yeah.
I just love that this entire situation could have been avoided if Milo was like, "Hey, Phaedre, that's stupid," and left.
Hey, I just got
that
out
doesn't
of
sound
this.
fine.
No, it wasn't.
I feel like for me, now that I'm like actually like really talking about and thinking about it, it's like the way I want to play Milo again, like I said, is very based on my personality and kind of just how I am. And I think, especially with role playing, I kind of just get to be me. So like, I get to be. For me, I'm kind of a mischievous kind of person. I like a little trouble here and there. So
Couldn't tell.
I think Milo really I can really, I guess, do that as Milo, and I definitely am, want to create a little bit more mischief, maybe a little less troublesome for the party, but it's definitely still gonna be there.
It's like throwing a Molotov cocktail into an already burning house.
Freya, how much gold or bronze is it to get a backpack with a leash?
That's gonna depend on a few things, to be honest.
What about like a little collar around his wrist that shocks him every time he does something stupid?
No, don't do that.
That would be more.
It would be more.
Yeah.
You do have 150 platinum.
We do have 150 platinum.
Goodness.
You could try. There's people that ask around about making that sort of thing, I guess. So.
As a viewer that doesn't have to deal with your repercussions, Mikey. Oh, absolutely. Keep going. Yeah, 100%.
It's so good. It's so good. No, it's so fucking good.
Wholeheartedly.
It's incredible. Like, so this is like clearly, there's a lot of other decisions that have been made by the party that I don't think you were, you couldn't have been aware that you were making. This was clearly a big decision. And I guess there is still time to try and make the other decision potentially, but it seems that with where the party is at, you have made your decision, and this was the first like big thing that will have very big ramifications, I suspect, for probably the rest of the story. And I could not have asked for this to turn out with more well-placed tension. It's ridiculous, just like how perfect every little nugget of information and every interaction was with the timing. Like, I'm actually, episode 8 is one that I wish I could watch. Like, I wish I could just like reset my brain and watch it, because it's just crazy. It's crazy.
It's like that chaotic episode, like you're halfway through a season and it's just everything's coming together.
Yeah, pretty much. And
like an ultimate episode of Game of Thrones. Something shit's gonna go down and it's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I know I've been saying this, but again, because I've been sitting on episode 9 and 10 for so long, at least how I anticipate or what I've prepared for, I suspect next time we meet, people will probably be in a very different mood. That's all I'll say. But, God,
before we fully wrap here, my meta questions that I've asked everyone. So now it's Mikey's turn.
Yes.
How well are you at taking notes? Or do you rely on the party? I've asked everyone else, so it's only fair.
Okay, yeah.
I'll say this is that, I'm a person with a very short attention span. Um, so like once something doesn't sound as interesting to me, things kind of just click off and, my head kind of wanders. So as I've said, Milo kind of just being, me. Yeah, no, relying on people sounds exactly like something I do.
Incredible.
You
I
might get
love that.
you might get a nugget here and there. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, take that as you will.
That's awesome. That's very method acting at that point, I suppose.
Essentially, yeah.
Great. And then so I don't know if this has come up in any pre-game off-stream stuff yet, Mikey, but do you know how Iron Dan got the Iron Dan moniker?
I have no idea.
It is in I believe the first podcast episode, I asked him that,
Yeah.
and it ended up being part of his first gamer tag. So I then have asked everyone else, do you remember your first gamer tag, and are you willing to share?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. My first gamer tag. I feel like my first gamer tag was. It's honestly not that far off from whatever I use now. My first gamer tag I think was Mikeal13, Mikeal 13. Literally the 13 was just a random number, and then Mikeal was kind of just like a different way to say Michael, which is like my middle name. So yeah, that's literally what it is. And then like a lot of the screen names I use now is kind of like Mike Ski, so like literally just my name and like something that sounds funny. So
Nice.
yeah, nothing too crazy. I'm not that creative in thought.
It's creative enough to still be a good, interesting answer. I love kind of seeing where people come from and what influences their decisions. So like that's good enough insight. That's perfect. All right. Is there anything else before we officially wrap up here?
I don't have anything. I don't think so.
No. Josh, not for this episode. Mikey, not right now.
For this
No.
episode, but hopefully I'm in Florida, and we have Florida SuperCon coming up next month, and I have a ticket, and I have a time to meet with from Critical Role himself, Robbie from Critical Role, and I am
I'm so
going
jealous.
to try and get a shout out for our little channel going on right here for Rathmore Gaming.
That would be awesome.
So I'm gonna try. I make no promises, but I'll see you guys at Florida SuperCon if you're there. If not, I understand because it's Florida.
That's fair.
All right.
That would be awesome. But yeah, nothing from me. I think I'm good on all that.
Mike, you said you're good, Mikey? Good.
Yeah, for the most part, like I said, just watch me create a little bit more mischief within the group. That's really it.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, everyone, for your time tonight. Thank you, Josh and Mikey. Josh for returning, Mikey for your first time here.
Always a pleasure.
Excellent. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you soon next time. Fraya, again, thank you so much for building this wonderful world that Milo specifically can go cause chaos in. And
Milo Murphy's world. Oh my god.
And Volkar can have very traumatic episodes in.
Yeah. My pleasure. My pleasure.
And any viewers watching, thank you so much. Be sure to follow Rathmore Games on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitch, and most notably on Twitch, I believe you're still running your subscription or thing, right?
The dice bag giveaway. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So first 25 subs in the U.S. and Canada are getting a free dice bag and free little set of RPG dice. And yeah, come say hi, support the channel, and I guess I'll reiterate the thanks for watching part.
Yeah.
And
thank you
Ben,
again.
We
for
appreciate
taking time
every
to do this as
view,
always.
Thank
every
you
follow.
guys.
Oh, I did want to shout out, now that I remembered, right at the
Mhm.
end, there was a comment on episode 8. And thank you, commenter, for the one comment that just says, Jesus Christ, Milo, what have you done?
That's amazing. Yeah,
Even
that's the
there you go.
takeaway. That's the
yeah.
I love
takeaway.
it.
God
Viewers,
damn.
thank you so much for watching. This has
Well.
been Take 20.
Yep.
Stay safe,
Catch you next
stay
time.
well.
All that shit.
Live long and prosper.